Hi everyone, Rory here. In today's video I'm going to look at Games Workshop Citadel Colour shades and how they look on some Napoleonic figures. I've got some 28mm Victrix plastics here, painted up as line voltigeurs, but it's actually the Middle Guard box set that I've used. In a recent video I looked at new versus old Army Painter quick shade washes, and today I will compare the Citadel colour shades with the Army Painter washes. I've only got 4 colours. I've sort of stuck to the brownish ones, and black in terms of Nuln oil. These are colours which are kind of appropriate for all over washes rather than targeting specific colours where you might use something like a red or a green wash. First model I'm going to do pure Agrax Earthshade, see how that goes on, and the second one we'll get Agrax Earthshade thinned, about a 1:1 ratio with Lahmian Medium. So I'm just going straight out the pot with the Agrax Earthshade. Old brush, I'll just spread this all over. With it thinned with the medium, you can already see it's a much lighter, and flows about the same. The real truth though is what the dried results look like. So I'm use the 4 washes I've got, 4 shades I've got out. I've got Seraphim Sepia, Nuln oil, there's Agrax Earthshade, and also Targor Rageshade, which is sort of a purpley brown. I thought that might be worth having a look at as well. So I'll take stills of all these models where I've used just the neat shade plus also a diluted shade, and compare them with equivalents from the Army Painter range. For all the still photos, there's going to be 4 models in them. Looking from left to right, we'll see the Citadel shade mixed with medium in a 1:1 ratio. The next model will just be neat shade. The third model will be neat Army Painter tone. And the fourth model will be 50% Army Painter tone and 50% Army Painter wash medium. So we've got Agrax Earthshade versus Strong Tone here, and looking at the model second from the left with the neat Agrax versus the model second from the right with the Strong Tone neat out the bottle. The Agrax is a lot browner and it stains more of the surface that it covers. The Strong Tone has more black to it and disappears into the recesses a lot better than the Agrax does. When thinned with wash medium, the Strong Tone is quite a lot lighter and is more confined to recesses. The Agrax Earthshade, when thinned with medium, still does a bit of sort of discoloration overall the surfaces, but its effects are a bit more targeted and noticeable in the recesses. In this image we've got Nuln oil up against dark tone from the Army Painter. They're both sort of black washes or shades. The Nuln oil is a lot darker in the recesses than the dark tone is. At the same time, I think it stains the surface of the miniature more, darkens everything down when compared to the dark tone. When thinned with the medium, the Nuln oil seems to almost peel back off the highest peaks and leaves them a lot lighter than the flat areas of the cloth. That could be a good effect, a good way to make the wash go where you want it. When dark tone is thinned, it really pulls it back into the recesses only, and I think that's a good overall look from the dark tone. Comparing the Seraphim Sepia to the Army Painter Sepia Tone. I think that the Army Painter Tone colours the model a lot more, makes everything that sort of yellowy brown sepia look, whereas the Games Workshop shade is much more contained in the recesses. I think the Seraphim Sepia looks good on the beige of the shako cover and the white of the trousers. It's not a great colour for the greatcoat, neither are the Army Painter Sepia Tone. And there's not much shading going on of the darker wood and metal. The flesh I think is shaded okay with the Sepia, Seraphim Sepia. But it may be the case that for a whole model in darker colours it's not much use. Because the Seraphim Sepia is not matched well by the Army Painter Sepia Tone, I've also got Army Painter Light Tone here by way of comparison. I think these colours are quite a bit closer in terms of finish. And taking a second to look at the Seraphim Sepia that's been thinned with the medium, it's not doing very much at all to the colour of the jacket. It's leaving some nice shading on the white of the trousers, so a thin Seraphim Sepia could be a really good look for models in white uniforms. For completion's sake, I've got the Army Painter Soft Tone to compare against the Seraphim Sepia. I think the Army Painter Soft Tone is a little bit more brown than the yellow of the Seraphim Sepia. But there's not a huge difference between Army Painter Soft Tone, Army Painter Light Tone and Seraphim Sepia. They all look good on whites and beiges, but perhaps not much use on darker colours. Lastly, for a look at Targor Rageshade, I've got this image. I've put the models that I did with Army Painter Rust Tone up here. I know that this is not a good match for Targor Rageshade, but I thought I should include all the models I tested last time. The Targor Rageshade certainly got a purplish hue to the brown. It looks interesting. I think for skin it's a good shade, and the brass fittings and the brown on the musket, possibly the green as well on the epaulets. But I don't think it's great for the white and the grey. It makes them a bit too purpley there. Time to sum up my thoughts on Citadel shades. I think that in general the Citadel shades are more likely to tint the underlying colours that you've painted on a model than the Army Painter washes are. The exceptions are the Army Painter Rust Tone and Sepia, which really do tint the look of the whole model. But when I compare Dark Tone with Nuln Oil and Strong Tone with Agrax Earthshade, the Army Painter washes tend to leave more of the original colour visible, and they fill out the recesses more than they stain the surfaces. That said, the Citadel shades make the recesses darker than the Army Painter equivalent, but it does come with that downside of sort of discolouring the whole model that you've painted already. Now, if you are looking for a sort of tinting effect with your shade acting more as a filter, that's actually quite useful. And it certainly helps to tie disparate colours together, which could be a useful trait in your wash. Overall, I think washes, when I'm applying a single wash to a whole model, I'm really more interested in leaving the colours sort of as they were before, and just showing off the recess shading. Thanks for watching. If you've got any comments, please leave them below, and I'll be back soon with another video. Thanks. Bye bye.